Good evening, kiddies. Dr. Freedom here with you. Time for some Doctor Who news. Oh, everybody's like, Dr. Freedom, why didn't you do a news report yesterday? Because there wasn't any freaking news to talk about Series 9. And I'm not going to sit here and do 3 or 4 or 5 casts on nothing. I'm sorry, it's just not the way I do it. If I don't have anything that's worthy of broadcasting, I'm not going to, waste your folks' time putting out a nonsense video with a bunch of stuff you've already heard. And I've already done that once this week, and I actually felt bad about it. But it was mainly just to wrap up information we already had, and I don't like doing that over and over and over again. Because I know you folks out there are watching, and I know you folks out here who regularly watch this particular little cast. Well, I know there's a few of you out there who do, are well aware that I don't do speculation unless I have something solid to bounce that off of. And it's just, why do a video if you don't have any news? And that's just the way I do it, okay? Sure, it got me a little bit extra sleep last night, but at the same time, I don't like the fact that I didn't get a chance to do a video, but what can I do? No news, no video. It's like, like I said, this season's been very, very tough, and it's very, very hard to get news out because of they've really clamped things down, especially now that they're filming the finale, And I know it's driving a few of them guys nuts out there because they're using closed sets right now. So, okay, but let me show you what I do have, because over the last 24 hours or so, some other stuff's popped up we can talk about. All right, let's start off with this first. This was popped up on Instagram, and like I said, I'm not going to do an entire video based off of this, and that's all we basically had. Okay, so this was done at Capaldi, obviously. Capaldi sitting at an old table. We're not sure what he's doing there, but I just thought it was a very interesting image. Who knows? Could this be from the prequel? Because that would be very interesting, which we now know that the prequel is called The Doctor's Meditation, and it's going to be shown over here stateside when they show Dark Water, Death in Heaven in 3D at those special broadcasts. Like I said, my only major concern, though, is once again, we're dealing with programming that was bought by UK citizens, paid for by UK citizens, and they're going to show it over here in the US. I don't know if it's going to be released over there the same night or what the deal's going to be. I'll find out as soon as I know, but it's kind of a bummer that they're doing this. But at the same time, I know they want to do it in the name of getting a little extra viewership over here in the States. Now, a lot of people have been doing the what if the BBC has to cut Doctor Who? For one, as you saw, there's no plans to cut Doctor Who. As far as we know, Series 10 is pretty much already in the bag from what we saw on the documents I showed you earlier this week. But let me give you this example. Remember that guys that they fired from Top Gear? Guess what happened? Amazon has already signed them up for their own show. You can't just cut Doctor Who or anything like that for you folks who are the naysayers. Because even if you did, you've got Netflix, Amazon, you've got all these other companies that are going to swim right up there and say, hey, baby, how about a little cash? And they're going to walk away with the show. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to make it a big-ass success because they're going to drop a ton more budget into it than the BBC couldn't on top of what they paid for it. And, oh, looky, they're going to make the return easily. They've already done it with Ripper Street. I think they've already ordered, if I remember right, sorry, I'm just going off memory here. They've already ordered like 2 more series of Ripper Street. And the BBC shit-canned it. And they've already hired the entire original production team. A lot of people go, it's going to be bad. No, folks, this isn't like the days when they went into that last season of Airwolf and they took it off to another network and it sucked ass. This is a company who actually stepped in. They hired everybody from the original production crew and all that. They even brought in the writers, all those guys, the creator, and they're doing the exact same quality shows. I've watched Series 3 of Ripper Street, and it's phenomenal. And that's the same thing they would do at Doctor Who, even if they did can it. So don't even worry about that happening. The BBC knows better. They've already watched it happen once. With Ripper Street. Now their guys from Top Gear have been hired to do their own show, and that's going to take off. But like I said, just giving you some examples. Don't worry about the budget thing. I know there's some people, sorry I wandered off on that tangent, but it has been coming up quite a bit again. And it's like, come on, Doctor Who's one of the flagship shows. You can pretty much guarantee it's going to be around. If I remember right, I think Moffat's already signed on for another couple more years. All right, but let's get off that. Let's get back to what we do have, okay? Before I go way, way off topic. All right. This popped up from a flow screed flow creep. Fairly sorry about that. A little belchy tonight. Doctor Who filming in the Swansea Old Factory, Jersey Marine. They'll have a nice flat floor to run around often as we screeded that back in 2008. So that's where they're at right now. Apparently that's where the filming's taking place. That was put, matter of fact, hang on, I had a picture of that. So, oh wait, it's just one of their trucks. You're not missing out on anything. Okay, let's get back to it, shall we? So, don't worry about it. They are filming, I think it's episode 11 right now. Should be going on 9, then they're going to do 12 last. All right, so let's move on, because there's more interesting stuff that has popped up over the last 24 hours. And now I'm on the picture that I was looking at in the first place. You see how well organized I am? I know. Okay, let's go over to here. This is what we're going to look at now. Doctor producer drops some hints about Maisie Williams' role. All right, now, okay, this Doctor Who came to Beverly Hills on Friday as the team behind the BBC's cult sensation took questions from reporters at the Television Critics Association's press tour. All right, here's 5 moments from that panel. All right, well, let's go for number 1. On the mysterious role played by Game of Thrones actress Maisie Williams next season, quote, "Once you see what she's up to, you'll appreciate what a clever idea the role was," Moffat said. "It's a significant role. We're not just throwing her away. It's a great part, and she's terrific in it." One thing I think is worth saying, because it keeps coming up as an issue, is, now please listen to this closely, is that she is not playing a returning character. She's a new character. She's not a character from the Doctor's past. So once again, as I said, when you saw that bit at the end of the trailer, remember, if I remember right, that's that 2-parter, the girl who died, the woman who lived. Let me stress that, the girl who died, the woman who lived. There's people who've been screwing that title up back and forth. I know I do that sometimes, but it happens. It could be that she's a character he meets in the first part, and then she pops up again later, and that's why he goes, "Oh, it's you." And then say, it's not a trick or anything like that. Say, "Oh, it's a returning character." I've heard everything from Susan to Waycott, the younger Clara. No. I don't think she's younger Clara, because they've already gone down that road before with billions of Claras running around the place like crazy. And as much as we like billions of Claras running around the place like crazy, preferably nude. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry, I wandered off on you there, didn't I? Okay. On the Doctor playing guitar in the new season's trailer, the Doctor, he previously played the recorder, Peter Capaldi noted. "I thought 11 generations after that he might develop his musical skills a little. I just mentioned the idea to Steve, and I was surprised he went with it. I also wanted him to plug it into the TARDIS console. I thought that would be great." On the inevitable movie question, and this Moffat hit this thing, "What are we going to do? Shut down for a year and make a movie? Does everybody want that? You'd rather a movie than a whole series? And you can't have 2 James Bonds at the same time." Wasn't I asking that question back in 2013? Wouldn't you rather have a whole series for the 50th anniversary year than one 75-minute movie? Wonder why he's saying that now. Would have been handy 2 years ago. Oh, sorry. That's the past. Let's move forward. On how Capaldi will stay in the role, or how long he'll stay in the role. "Certainly until the end of September," Capaldi added. And then Moffat said, it's the only time on television where everybody asks when you're leaving. It's the first question David Tennant got was, "How long are you planning to stay?" He's like, "I just got here." Now, that was caused by the thing with Eccleston that was going on. And Eccleston, once again, all right, apparently he did another thing where he mentioned something about why he left, and people were dragging up the articles from last year and whatnot. He still hasn't gone. I love how he finally explained why he left the show after 1 series. No, he didn't. He just said the same thing he's been saying since back then. He had clashes with the upper echelons, and that's why he decided to leave, because he didn't like what he saw was going on. And it's the same thing he's been saying since way back when he left in 2005. So, okay. Ask the Execs monsters in the new series. It's a nice short little thing. It's right over here on the BBC page. It's only about 2 minutes long. Give it a watch. It's got a little bit of kick to it. Okay, now let's move on. Once again, this was put up yesterday. There are apparently still tickets available to see Capaldi live in conversation at the Civic, Auckland, New Zealand, taking place on the 24th of November. So if you're in New Zealand, you want to go see Capaldi, apparently as of then, like I said, you may want to double check this because this was put up yesterday, that apparently there's still seats for the conversation with Peter Capaldi. So go check into it. Okay, now this was from yesterday. Same thing. I told you, how they name stuff. This actually provides the map and shows you where stuff is, what's named what, and all that, so you can actually physically see what is named after. Like you start up here, blah 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 blah. Okay, then you get down to the Gallifrey Macula, which is crossed by the TARDIS Chasma. So they even have Serenity Chasma. And for you guys, anyone remember this name? Anybody? Macross Chasma? If you do, let me know, because I'm a Robotech fan, big time. I haven't watched the actual Macross series. I just watched the bastardized version called Robotech. One of these days, I got to get around to it. I don't know. Argo, come on, that could be taken a billion different ways. Jason and the Argonauts. And if you're, of course, if you're in the Vulcan Planum, you have all the Star Trek ones, and they also are throwing in for good measure. They have Kubrick and Clark. All right. So I just want to throw this in because here's the actual physical map showing you what's what. Okay, move on. All right, here we go. Over on David Tennant blog site. David Tennant's going to star in the Antiquary on BBC Radio 4 on the 9th of August. And if you're into this kind of thing, it's basically the Antiquary, a man who hoards secrets as well as treasures with his knowledge, and blah, blah, blah. So it's a radio drama, and apparently he's going to be appearing in it. So if you're a Tennant fan, keep your ears out for this. And lastly, for you folks who didn't know about this, and I only found out about it many, many, many years later after I discovered the Pertwee era and got to watch it one night. John Pertwee's last appearance as the Doctor. And no, it wasn't in a documentary. No, it wasn't even in one of those little things. It was a fan-made film called Devious. And unfortunately, I don't think they filmed all of it. I think we only filmed like a smidgen of it. But if you look around like on YouTube and all that, the parts that were filmed, and those do include Pertwee, at a point, please go watch it. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene where he's in there. And I just thought it was amazing that he took the time out to do a fan-made production for Doctor Who. So if you don't know about Devious, please read this. All right? Very, very informative. Matter of fact, hold on a second. I forgot. Here's the two parts they did have filmed right here. Duh, okay, they do have them linked up. So it's not much, but it's very, very interesting what you do see of it. I think the original premise was to do like a 6 25-minute episodes or something along that line, and it just never fully materialized. But if you want to see Pertwee's last appearance as the Doctor, boom, there it is. Okay, so once again, I don't just go out and make videos willy-nilly to say, oh, looky, I'm still here. I don't have to do that. I do this as a hobby, folks. I do this because I want to give you folks genuine news. I don't want to give you bull crap. I don't want to give you 195% speculation based off nonsense. I want to give you, actual factual data. So if there's not enough stuff, like say there's like one article and it's an obscure thing, I'm not going to waste your time and mine by making a video. Because why should I drag you in and make you watch a video when I ain't going to tell you nothing, that ain't new. Sorry, I'm drying out. It was another one of them days when the AC was running all the time. Well, speaking of wasting your time, I better get out of here. Remember Omega Files, which is going to be later today, since this is only going to go up Saturday morning. It's going to be Shakedown, Return of the Sontarans. There's going to be more interviews coming up in the future. It's just a matter of scheduling them. What's happening is I wanted to do a Q&A with Lisa Bowerman. But as you've seen, if you've been keeping up on your Big Finish news, Lisa Bowerman's a very, very, very busy lady. Same thing with Sophie Aldred. Someone brought it up, and I'm like, look, I said, when I asked her for the Q&A again with Trev and Simon, I meant later on down this fall when her schedule's opened up a bit more and she's got more time to do it. And that way, when they've got a few episodes of, Space Strangeness and Space Out, then I want to sit down with them and do it. I don't want to wear out my welcome. I'm not going to be that pest who's constantly contacting people every couple of minutes saying, will you do a Q&A, will you do a Q&A, will you do a Q&A? I thought it was amazing that I got to sit down and interview with Sophie Aldred. Then we got a Q&A with her with a couple of guys. To me, that's phenomenal. And I know she's a very, very nice lady, but I don't want to take advantage of that. Okay, that's just how I work. And same thing with Chase Masterson. As much as she said she loved to do a Q&A, as you saw, if you've been keeping up on the news with her, she's been appointed to the United Nations Association as a spokeswoman, and that takes a lot of time. And she's doing such magnificent things. Why would I take her away from that for a Q&A? She's very, very busy. She's got a lot of things on her mind. You see, I like to think of these things. You know, celebrities are people too. So you got to be a little patient as far as that goes, because I'm not going to go hound these people. I'm just amazed that we had as many interviews with as many great people as we have this year. And if I can get them back, marvelous. But I'm not going to force the issue. That's not how I work. I'm just very, very lucky. You know, I'm not cocky at all about this. I consider myself to be extremely lucky that I met my friend Matt, who had these contacts, who was willing to give the time. And he, you know, in some cases, he just passed me the data, and then I did the legwork after that. But I really, really want to thank him again, because I don't want this man to feel underappreciated, because he has done amazing things for the Omega Files. Really has. But enough of that. I got to get off here, and I don't want to drag out your time any further. So take it easy, guys. Catch you all tomorrow on the Omega Files. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.